Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kavre, a couple that loves to play board games.
And put them on our shelf one by one.
Ooh, actually, you know what I was thinking about? How a game could be called and be part of a shelf. Kind of like this one.
Exactly.
My Shelfie.
My Shelfie is designed by Phil Walker Harding and Matthew Dunstan and is published by Cranio Creations and Lucky Duck Games.
In this game, you're going to be filling up your shelf with a variety of different knickknacks, including board games, trophies, photos, books, and maybe every now and then a cat will stumble into your shelf.
Do you just call a cat a knickknack?
No, that's why I paused and did a little transition thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Well, the player who arranges everything in the best way possible, reaching goals, reaching sets, and is organized, will potentially win.
Exactly. Now, let's take a quick look at how My Shelfie works.
As always, you'll begin by setting up. The living room board will be set up with tiles based on your player count. You'll draw 2 common goal cards, placing scoring tokens based on your player count on the cards, and finally, give each player a personal goal card and their own Shelfie. You're now ready to play. In My Shelfie, your goal is to score the most points by completing common goals, your personal goal, and placing items adjacent to each other in groups on your Shelfie. You'll do all these things by populating your Shelfie. On your turn, you must take 1, 2, or 3 item tiles from the living room following the following rules. The tiles must be adjacent and form a straight line, and all tiles that you take must have at least one side free, not touching any other tile. After taking your tiles, you must place all the tiles you picked into one column of your bookshelf. You can choose the order of the tiles, but you cannot place tiles in more than one column in a single turn. At any time you complete a common goal, you'll take the topmost scoring token to your supply. If there are ever 4 or fewer item tiles remaining in the living room, you'll put back all the tiles back into the bag and refill the living room. The game ends when one player fills all the spaces in their bookshelf. They'll take the endgame token, which is worth 1 point, and the game continues ensuring everyone has had the same amount of turns. You're now ready to score. You'll add up the points from common goals you've completed, your endgame token if you were the first to fill your bookshelf, points for your personal goal card if you managed to place item tiles in the exact positions illustrated on the card, and finally points for groups of adjacent tiles as indicated on the main board. The player with the most points wins. What will your shelf look like?
Beautiful, I hope. Exactly the way you want it to be.
Now, what were your first impressions of My Shelfie?
My first impression is, how has nobody thought about this before?
True.
I think that this is one of those games that, especially if you are a board gamer or really have any sort of collection that needs a shelf, you have this space that is just filled up with these things that you're collecting, and My Shelfie just, it's like one of those ideas that's like right there. It's like, yeah, this should be a game already. And I'm happy it is.
And I think with, like, my thought too, to build upon that, is with Connect 4 being such a prominent presence in the board game world, I'm surprised there's not more that utilize the mechanic of just dropping things in.
Especially the board, because like that, the tool that we get is exactly like the Connect 4 one.
So it's very cool. Very, I really enjoyed it. And it's an easy game to pull out and to teach to people too, because it's very simple in the way that you explain it.
Yes, it's extremely approachable. The points that and how you get them are very, very easy. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
But before we get too far into it, let's talk about some comparables.
Okay. Do you want to start?
Sure, yeah. So my comparable for My Shelfie is called Whatnot Cabinet. It's by Pencil First, and you're essentially doing the you're filling up your cabinet
with whatnots.
With whatnots, yeah. So knickknacks, whatnots, whatever you want to call them.
Not cats.
Yeah, not cats in this one. So there are a variety of different like jars, unique little sculptures and things like that that you're going to be drafting into your little shelf. And you essentially want to complete your shelves, collect those points based on how you fill it, whether they be the same colors, different patterns, or whatever goals are out there. But my favorite part about this is the drafting that happens, which is where I think it very much differs from My Shelfie. In essence, though, you're putting together this shelf, trying to score yourself more points, and I think if you enjoyed Whatnot Cabinet, My Shelfie is a fantastic game for you to pick up.
The one that came to my mind was Downtown Farmers Market. Mainly because you have like the goals. It's mainly because of the tile placement, I think.
Fair.
You have goals that you have to do, and in Farmers Market you're placing tiles to meet those goals on diagonal and not diagonal on columns and rows.
Yeah.
Here your goals are not necessarily columns and rows, but you have overall goals. But you're also trying to get likes together, and you're trying to achieve your own personal goal card. So there's
feels like a code name card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's goals that you're trying to achieve throughout the game by placing tiles that you take from the main board.
Yes.
So I think that tile taking into achieving into goals was more of my comparison there.
No, it's fantastic. I think if you like that game and Whatnot Cabinet, you'll like My Shelfie.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, moving on, let's talk about why you folks might want to check My Shelfie out.
Well, it has a gorgeous table presence.
It really does.
The fact that everything is 3D and not flat on the table makes it really fun because you can see everyone's shelves begin to populate with different sorts of knickknacks and cats.
Yes.
And that's very exciting.
Yeah. It puts a whole other meaning to looking and seeing what your opponents are doing. And I think that's a lot of fun. It is very thematic because it's standing upright. The race to get those goals. I guess moving on to my next point before I just keep on rambling. The race to get the center goals, so the public goals, is a lot of fun. And again, because you can see everybody's board, you know who's going for what, and you know how close you are to actually being able to grab the first scoring token before the next person. I think that's a lot of fun. And then in addition, you've got your personal goal. That's a lot of fun to get. And you really do have to plan around them because they are a lot of points.
And you really vary your strategy. Sometimes you'll take one, sometimes you're able to take three. So you kind of have to balance, how fast do I want to finish? Will I be able to reach all those goals? What is the best aesthetic that can happen on my shelf? But generally, there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize or you can try to capture points in this game. So trying to figure out which way is the best for you is really up to you. And games can be really close. We've had a couple of games that have been 1 point off, so...
Yeah, I really do appreciate that. I think that actually brings us into a good why you shouldn't check it out though. And that is the fact that because there is so many different ways to score points, I think you can get caught up in trying to do all of them, where really you only need to focus on a couple of them while sprinkling in like the sets, for example, because I found myself always going for my personal goal, trying to race for the main objectives, and then hoping that I could get these sets along the way.
It's definitely tricky to balance everything.
Yes.
I think another reason why you should not check it out is it sucks when you make mistakes.
It really does.
Because you can't really undo, like in this game, it's very hard to be like, oh, I take it back, because you can't just take the tile back. You basically have to turn everything upside down. So it's
for two reasons, really.
You can't really make mistakes.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you make a mistake, it feels really bad, especially when you ruin your personal goal or make it so the public goals are not achievable at all.
Yeah.
Which I've done a couple of times. I'm like, oh, darn it, I wish I took a moment and paused and didn't make this rash decision.
Yeah, and even if you do like retroactively change that, it is inconvenient to be able to have to like pull out those specific tiles from the unit that you're working with. So, yeah.
But overall, what do we think?
Overall, I think this game is fantastic. I like the set collection. It gives me a lot of vibes of a lot of the different set collection games that are out there. So maybe that's the reason somebody might not necessarily want to pick it up. I will say that the one thing that bothers me about the game is the tedious tile replacement that has going on. I think like when there's when it's all empty essentially, or 4 or less, however it works, I think having to reset up those tiles is a little tedious for what the game actually is. That being said, I think the game is a lot of fun. I love the concept of filling up my shelf, and I love being able to go for a race for the public goals while also having some confidence in myself just being able to achieve my personal goal.
Well, I really enjoyed this game. I think it's just very wholesome. It's fun to go for patterns. I like the balance. I actually really like the balance of trying to balance everything that you can do.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to do it all. You're trying to reach the public goals first. You're trying to get your personal goals, and you're trying to create sets, which is really hard to do everything. But it's a challenge you can keep coming back to and try to find ways to challenge yourself and push yourself to reach your ultimate potential in My Shelfie.
That's true too, because if you do accomplish that, it feels really great.
Now for our question of the day today, What is the most unique thing on your shelf today?
On our shelf out there?
You have a
Nothing,
Lego.
probably. Yeah,
a
I've got
lighthouse.
my lighthouse, and right next to it, well, used to be my two, my Growlithe and my Pidgeot, animal stuffy, Pokemon stuffies.
I have a little ceramic origami crane somewhere. I think it might be.
Oh, it's
here.
here. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know
Look
exactly
at
what you're
it.
talking about.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I forget how I got it. I think someone got it to me as a gift.
It is very cute.
And it's horrible that I don't remember who got it to me as a gift. But someone gifted me this beautiful ceramic origami crane, and it's wonderful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Let us know what your most unique piece or your favorite piece is that is on your shelf, whether that be your board game shelf or your bookshelf or whatever kind of shelf you want to let us know about.
Exactly.
We'd love to hear about it.
And if you enjoyed our video today, let us know in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for being here today, and we will catch you in the next one.
And of course, let us know if you're going to check out my shelfie, if you've already played it, if you liked it. You know, do all of those things. But until next time, we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.